Good morning, Stampers. I'm hoping I'm live now. If you can see me on Facebook or YouTube, please let me know. I had some issues this morning. I've been trying to get online. I do see that I have some viewers, so that's a good sign that I think I'm online. I will have to fix something because I think I closed out on my Facebook page in an attempt to make it better so that I could see what was going on or find out what I was doing wrong. But anyway, I am gonna get started here. I'm gonna just go through my whole demonstration, whether you can see me or not, only because I think I'm out there. I think I'm out there. It looks to me like on Facebook I am not broadcasting at this point. I don't know what's going on. It just keeps saying starting soon. That's not such a good sign. If you can see me on my website, though, let me know. Let me know down in the comments below. Hi, Jackie from Farmington. Looks like you can see me. Hope you're all going to see me soon. Yeah. Well, Donna sent me an email saying that nothing's happening. It doesn't look like it's streaming live either over on Facebook. I don't know what the scoop is. I guess I'm going to have to figure that out. Well, I'm just going to go ahead with what I had planned today. I'll have a recording of this that I can put over there. But as long as I've got a few people, I have no idea. I think you might be on YouTube. Although it still says that I'm not live streaming on YouTube. Yeah, isn't the internet great? Yeah, as soon as I think I got it all figured out, then it doesn't quite work out like I expected. So anyway, let's just go ahead and get started. I'm going to pull up some of my slides because I guess I'm not going to pull up my slides. This is some funny stuff going on today. Looks like everything is shutting down. Not good. Oh, you know what I did? I think I shut everything down and came back up. That's why I'm not seeing anything. Sorry, guys. Gosh, this is going to be, once I get in the groove here, we'll be better. I promise. But I do want to pull up some of my slides because it kind of helps me stay organized somewhat. Not always. So anyway, just to get started, if you're out there on YouTube or on Facebook, I don't think it's working on Facebook, but certainly post a question to YouTube or my website and I will answer it because I can actually do that on those places. You're always welcome to comment down below. Sometimes if I can't see it, somebody else will see it for me and answer, and that's always nice. But I do have a few questions that people asked that I was prepared to do today. This is so funny that things are not working. Well, let's see if I can get to my other camera, because then we'll just go ahead and get started with the demonstration. Yes, okay, so my other camera is working. So there are a few questions that I can answer from over here. And actually, most of the questions that were asked beforehand, I hope you can hear me, I already had prepared to answer. So I'm over here at my demonstration table, and one of the questions that was asked of me this morning was the difference between the clear mount stamps and the photopolymer stamps. Stampin' Up! Has 3 different kinds of stamps. As you know, we have our wood-mounted stamps, which come like this, and just exploded. Come like this in a nice case. The wood mounts, you get the wood blocks and the red rubber. That's actually the stamp I'm using today. Then we have our clear rubber stamps, which are clear rubber with the foam, and they actually mount onto a clear block. Now, I haven't put the stickers on mine just because, number one, I probably was going to use it right away quickly, and so I just didn't put the stickers on. The other thing I have found is when I do put my stickers on, I don't think they stick to the clear blocks as well with the sticker on. And so a lot of mine I've just left off because it doesn't really matter to me to see the image because it isn't necessarily lined up to the image on the rubber. It depends on how I put it on there. You do get the stickers, and they work great. And if you don't, one of the things I found, if you've already put your stickers on and you're having some issues, sometimes I'll add a little bit of this multi liquid Tombow glue, and not a lot. So I would have the sticker on there. I wouldn't do it to this part because you don't really need it because it sticks really good. But if the sticker's on there, just a little bit of this mono multi and let it dry. I let it dry for a long time to make sure it's dry, and then it's like a very strong Post-it note. And it just gives a little more cling to your stamp onto those clear blocks. So these are the clear mount stamps. And then what Stampin' Up! Calls their see-through stamps are photopolymer. And so they are photopolymer. I use these a lot too. I didn't think I was gonna like the photopolymer when I first got them. I was totally a wood girl. But I do love the photopolymer. They stick really well to the stamps, and you can see right through them, so you know exactly where you're stamping. So that is the difference. I hope that answers your question, and I don't remember who it was. I had the name up, but I remember who it was. So I hope that answers that question. The other question that I got, let me move some of this stuff out of the way. Somebody asked how to spray the egg carton. I don't know if you guys have seen these, but they're in the Occasions mini catalog, and they're egg cartons. And actually, I know that they're starting to run low on inventory, or maybe even be out of inventory, but she wanted to know how to color them. And I would use a spritzer, and she wanted to know how much refill ink to put in with rubbing alcohol, which is what I use. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some ink, some rubbing alcohol into the spritzer, and then I can color this egg carton. Let me move my heavy piece of wood. Just kidding. It's not really wood, it's paper. And I'm going to take my spritzer, and I'll open it up. And I actually used this one before, and I didn't clean it out. Imagine that. And the rubbing alcohol. And what this person had asked is what's the ratio, rubbing alcohol to color? And what I'm going to tell you is there really isn't a ratio. You just do it. If you want it to be a strong, rich raspberry, put quite a few drops of rich raspberry in there. So I'm actually gonna pour some rubbing alcohol into this little spritzer, but I'm gonna do it so that I can actually see what I'm doing. Sometimes the camera and the lights get in the way, and I can't really see what I'm doing, and I make a mess, and I didn't really want to make a mess. So what you'll see that there was some color in here already. I believe it's rich raspberry. That was my guess when I looked at it. So it's just kind of what you're right in there. So the only reason that you use rubbing alcohol, and drop a few drops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So the reason that you use the rubbing alcohol, it's just your transporter. And I like to use rubbing alcohol because it dries quickly. It's alcohol, it just disappears. It evaporates really quickly. Now I used 15 drops, and I had it almost full, the spritzer almost full, and it looks to me like it's going to be a pretty heavy-duty color. We're going to soon find out because I'm going to spray this right in front of you. But this is how people are getting color onto their paper or die cuts, whatever you have that you want colored. And the alcohol dries quickly, and it's the transporter of the color. So it's gonna make a mess. I probably should have checked to make sure I had a spritzer that actually worked. I think I have a Clark one. Oh, there we go. Okay, so this is gonna get a lot of color quickly. And just move it around. You can see how I just am changing the color, actually, of the inside of the egg carton. If I want to do the outside, I'm just going to flip it over and continue to spray that color. So now I've got, these egg cartons, or anything for that matter, that coordinates with our ribbons and our cardstocks and our designer series paper. I hope that helps and answers your question. So oops, now I have a rich raspberry thumb. I have kind of an important meeting this afternoon. I'm going to go with red fingers. Oh well. They know what I do for a living, so they should expect that. So I really have got this really sprayed fairly well. You'll see I used almost all of the spritzer, so I filled it up with rubbing alcohol, 15 drops of rich raspberry. And I end up with a rich raspberry. You know, there's a few spaces. It's still really, it's kind of damp, so it needs to dry. Once it's dry, I could spritz it again if I chose to, or just leave it that color. So there you have your answer to that. That's how you do the spritzing of the egg baskets that we have in the Occasions mini catalog. But again, that's these spritzers and inks can be used with anything. In fact, today I'm using paper. Most of my demonstration today is using the Irresistible Floral Specialty Paper, which is just, it's a white paper that, you can see here, it's got, see that texture it's got into it? So those are embossed images. And so again, I could use that same technique and add color to this paper with a spritzer. In fact, I have a little piece here. Let me see if I can bring back my mat. And I'll just use this little piece. Now this is, again, the rich raspberry. And the rich raspberry, rubbing alcohol. Let me grab a paper towel. And then with that paper, then when I rub that off, where that's embossed, you will see it resists that ink color. So this is really wet. I probably sprayed it a little too much. But you can see that that's one of the things you can do with the paper. And I will show you some other things you can do with the paper. So today, just so you're aware, we are still in Sale-a-Bration. And Stampin' Up! Came out with a couple of new things for Sale-a-Bration this week. Started on the 21st. This is the first brochure. Everything that's in this brochure is still available. They just added a few new items to this brochure for the end of Sale-a-Bration. So we go to the end of March 31st. But I just wanted to show you what they look like. So the glitter paper looks like this. It's beautiful. So you get a pack. There's 6x6 pieces of glitter paper. You get 4 of each sheet. So 4 mint macaron, 4 sugar plum, 4 Bermuda Bay sheets, 6x6 to add to your cards. Beautiful colors. Here's some great samples using that. And then the other one, I did a little quick video this week on, let me move this out of the way, on the Make a Medallion stamp set. And I don't know, let me grab some cardstock because I want to show you quickly how it's used. It's pretty simple. It's pretty easy to use. What I did is I did a really quick, fast Facebook question and answer this week, and this was the set that I used. I was trying something new because I've kind of been having some trouble with YouTube, but I liked it. I'll do more of those, but I probably will continue to use YouTube and learn how to what is going wrong. Like I said, this morning in my messages on Facebook, I don't think I did on my website, but I don't know if any of you have been following the draft that's supposed to be having the baby, but I believe that the draft is taking up all of the live bandwidth on Facebook, and that's why people are having issues getting on Facebook. So I will tell you that I have checked a few times on the draft just to see how she's coming along, but she hasn't had the baby as of, I don't know, maybe an hour ago when I checked. But at this rate, if she's going to take up everybody else's time on Facebook and nobody can do their live things, it's time for Giraffe to have her baby so the rest of us can, can stamp and play and share with people. Okay, so what I did is I took that one piece of the medallion and I just inked it up with whatever color I had sitting here, coral, Calypso coral. And I'm going to take the second piece, and this one, of course, as you can see, can be used alone or it can be used with something. But this one layers into it. And these little half moons, if you can see those on there, if I'm going to ink those up in Wild Wasabi, I really wanted to get something that was kind of contrasting. And what I'm going to do is those little half moons are going to land in between the little spikes. And because it's a photopolymer set, it's fairly easy to line up. The hardest part for me is not getting my head right down in the camera. So you line that up and you stamp it, and then you see how you get the whole image. There's another piece that also goes in there, that's this little one here, and that one lines up with those little moons with these little squigglies right inside there. And let me show you a couple of cards I did with it. So here's one that I did earlier this week where I stamped it with this sugar plum, rich raspberry, and then I used Bermuda Bay to show the difference. And then the word stamps that are in that set, there's friend, love, and thanks, actually fit right inside that little medallion. So it can be used with just 2 colors. It could be used with just 1 color as 1 stamp, or that. And then some of the cards that I quickly made, let me put these away before I end up losing some of those photopolymer stamps. That's probably the biggest concern I have about photopolymer is they're clear and you can't see them, and all of a sudden they disappear and you're searching. So these are some of the cards that I made with that medallion. So on this one, I actually cut it out and just layered it with the sugar plum. This one I used the circle framelets, circle scallop framelets. So there's a little scallop framelet in there, and I use this as a background. Same colors. This one I added some of that lovely glitter paper with Bermuda Bay. And then this one I loved. I embossed this one with white, and then I stamped the little half moon medallion behind it in Bermuda Bay on Pool Party. And I just love the looks of those colors together, and then added some ribbons. So really simple, easy way to use those. That is the newest, one of the newest Sale-a-Bration sets. So I would like to go over and just check on and see if we have questions from anybody. So maybe I'll just leave that card out there because it's so pretty. I'm going to go sneak over and look, and then I'll be right back. It's very hard to answer questions and actually be over there. And especially today when I'm having so much trouble seeing if anybody's seeing. So now I don't think that anybody, I don't think anybody's actually seeing me live on Facebook. And I am not sure if people are seeing me live on, YouTube. The last place that I want to check, though, is my website, because people still may be seeing me on there. Yeah, it's not working over there either, it looks like. So things just didn't work out as planned. Okay, so I'm just going to keep going. I can't get your comments. I can't answer questions, but I do have some great things to share with you, and I think I want to do that. So I'll be, better switch cameras before I run over there and you can't see what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Lots of fun stuff today. I am using that Irresistible paper with the Cottage Greetings stamp set. And I'm using the Falling Flowers and also the framelets, the Mayflower framelets that go with it. These are some great framelets. You get quite a few, and they coordinate with the flowers in here. And then just so you can see the actual framelets and what they look like. So this one here actually looks like this. It's very pretty. I like the look of it. And it's nice to have framelets that coordinate with stamp sets like these all do, and then have extras of the thinlets, as these are called, just to coordinate everything together. So that's what I'm using today. And let's start with a card. Now I kind of have everything laid out here. Hopefully I've brought everything I need. This is the card that I'm going to show you. It's very quick and very easy. So let's get started on that. I'm going to use a sheet of 8.5 by 11, and I'm going to fold it in half. That is my base of my card. I have a sheet of the striped Irresistible paper, which this is actually 2 inches by, I think it's 6 inches. And then these are the pieces that I'm going to actually use for stamping and for cutting out. So for this piece, the stripe piece, I'm going to come in with, pool party. See, one of the things is I had all the sponges lined up here, and now I just moved them all over, and I don't know which sponge goes to which ink pad. Okay, so I'm just going to take a sponge and some ink. So I'm just going to dab a sponge, and our sponges come of a whole. So this at one point was a whole sponge, and I chopped them up into quarters because I think a quarter of a sponge is more than enough for me to sponge ink on. And so just another way to put ink onto this paper is to just sponge it on there, and where it's embossed will resist that ink. So just sponge it till you get a color that you like, and it doesn't have to be even. Doesn't have to be perfect. Once you've done that, you're going to come in. Let me put the cover on this rubbing alcohol before it all evaporates. There. Okay, so then you're going to come in. I'm just going to come in with a piece of a paper towel or a Kleenex and just wipe off the excess ink that would be on the white stripes. And then using a little snail adhesive, come down the paper. I'm actually going to put this at an angle, and that is why I cut it to 2 by 6, because I wanted it to be able to angle it off where I wanted it. Come in with a pair of paper snips, and I'm just going to flip my cardstock over and just trim right down that edge. Now, because this has kind of been messed up, I will be posting this on my blog, my Facebook, and on YouTube, but I will end up doing a PDF with all of the measurements and the products that I used, because I have those slides and they're not coming up, and I'm not really sure why. So I just want to make sure that everybody gets what I had planned this morning. Okay, so once I've done that, I'm going to come in with my piece of Whisper White and my floral stamp set, and I am going to stamp using So Saffron 3 of these little flowers. Now this stamp set in particular, this one here, comes with this little notch where the rubber is, and also on the sticker it has a little arrow, and that's just telling you how you would line that up with this framelit. So once I stamp this, as long as I put that little notch on the framelit going the same arrow as the direction, the same way as the arrow, it will line up that framelit and you'll get a perfect cut. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sure my arrow is facing this way. I just re-inked all these so they're very juicy. And I'm going to stamp 3 flowers. And then when I line that up on my big shot, this is going to go, that little notch is going to go where the way of the arrow. And then when I line that up, I can run it through and cut out those flowers. Very, very simple. The other thing I'm going to cut out is I'm going to cut out this flower and a couple of leaves to coordinate with this card. So let me pull in my big shot. Here's my big shot. And when I'm using framelits such as this, I prefer to use the steel plate as in place of one of my clear plates. What I found is when you use that clear plate, you lay these down on there, you're going to get a really good, it's going to have good pressure and cut really well, especially with those framelits, or framelits that are, or thinlits that are very detailed. So I'm going to run this through, and I'm not going to hurry up and run it through as fast as I can on my big shot. I'm going to run it through back and forth, and then when I pull this off, take out this paper. I'm going to end up with such a mess in here. So then I have the sleeve that's in there, and see, that actually came out fairly well. And then I can just pop those out. And that's the difference of using the steel plate. How quick that gets out. This one's a little bit more difficult. I can just take a scissor and actually poke some of those right through there. I could use the die brush. But normally what I